with me. There we go. Sorry, little technical difficulties again. Let's try this again. Thank you so much for being here on the first ever live stream on As It Stands Lakers. I really appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this live stream after the stream is over, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with little old me, handing out all that stuff. Let's talk Lakers. Let's talk news. Let's talk possibilities, theories, potentials, whatever you got. Leave a comment and let me know what you have. Yes, Joey. Thank you so much. Sorry, when the thing pops up, the countdown or whatever, it mutes the mic and you have to manually turn it back on. And I forgot about that, but we're good now. I appreciate you nonetheless. Thank you so much. What is going on, LeBron James? Nothing like good LeBron James. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for handing out. And Joey, thank you as well. See people trickling into the chat. Thank you all so much for popping in here. Any questions you have, anything you want to talk about, topics, things like that in regards to the Lakers, please join it in the chat. Let me know. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. But to jump off this whole thing, I think a good place to start would be the Kyrie Irving thing, right? Because the rumors and potential of a Kyrie Irving trade is here, right? Today, Summer League's officially over. We have the Trailblazers, Portland Trailblazers, officially won the Summer League, which is fantastic. But what's going on with the Kyrie trade? Is Kyrie going to be traded to the Lakers? What is going to happen? How is it all going to go down? Now, I have said that I believe it will happen. I think it'll end up happening most likely tomorrow. Could happen tonight, right? The rumor was the 17th, but I think it was more like, the 17th is the end of the Summer League, so therefore it'll happen. But I do imagine a Kyrie deal will be happening soon, Monday or Tuesday. I think that'll happen. If it's not here by Tuesday, then I'm gonna be a little worried. I still think it's a matter of when, not if. And neither side needs to really rush it, right? They have until September to get it done. So we still have a month and a half before they need to wrap it up. But I definitely think that we're getting closer and closer to like, hey, this needs to happen, right? What is going on? Appreciate you being here, WWE Elite. Thank you. What do you think is going down, or do you still think it's going down today or tomorrow? Yes. So, I've said from day one, obviously the rumor was the 17th, but I said from day one, I don't think it'll be till the 18th. One good thing to mention would be like Kawhi Leonard, right? I've had a lot of people mention that on my other channel. For those that don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone that's here probably does. If you don't, I have another channel just As It Stands, which I dive into all sports, but I'm a Laker fan, so that's why I created this channel. But I've had people mention like, oh, well, when did, Kawhi Leonard, didn't that happen? Like, so that happened on the 18th. Like, if you go back and you look, when was Kawhi Leonard traded to the Toronto Raptors? It was on the 18th. A lot of the trades, if you track them back, a lot of them will be on the 18th. So usually like the big blockbuster names usually get traded after Summer League based on history, stuff like that. So I think if a Kyrie deal is to happen, it'll likely be tomorrow, maybe even a Donovan Mitchell, something like that. So I don't think it'll happen today. You never know. I mean, it could, while we're on this live stream, we could get some breaking news and then dive into that discussion. But most likely, if I had to guess, I say it happens tomorrow. That's just me personally. Cool, you're live streaming now. Yes, thank you so much. So on my other channel, As It Stands, I've done a couple live streams. We even watched the Drew League game together. I tried to watch the Lake game, but that didn't work out. The stream got taken down. Got in a little bit of trouble, but it's okay. Nonetheless, but I figured should start doing some streams here. I'm almost to 1,000 subs, so just trying to get to 1,000 subs. Once you get to 1,000 subs, then you get all like the cool stuff, like you get like the AdSense, super chats. You get like access to more things to better improve your channel, stuff like that. So trying to get to 1,000 subs, and I need like 3,000 watch hours or something like that. Still, you need like 4,000 total. So what better way to get watch hours than to do like an hour or two live stream? Although it doesn't count during the live stream, it does count after the live stream. So anybody that watches it after, if any of you beautiful people want to, just let it play after we're done here, like if you got to go do the dishes, take out the trash, do some laundry or something. If you just want to let it play, help me out. I'd appreciate it. Nonetheless, another way to help out, hit that like button. It really does help during the stream, after the stream, all of that stuff. And of course, subscribe if you're not subscribed. But let's get into some other questions here. Kyrie deal, needs to get done soon. I want Kyrie in purple and gold. I am with you 10,000%. We need Kyrie in purple and gold. We need it to happen. I do, like I said, I do think it's going to be a matter of when, not if. I think it's just a matter of time. It's just how soon will that happen? Hopefully it's tomorrow. If Kyrie goes to the Lakers, what number should he wear? 2 or 11? I don't. Is there anybody on the Lakers right now that's number 11? Didn't somebody have number 2? Most likely, if I had to guess, I'd probably say he wears 11. Is probably my assumption because he's worn that the last few times. Although, I mean, he's coming back. He's coming back with LeBron. Maybe he goes to number 2. So that could be pretty interesting. Hopefully, he comes to LA. Remember, we wanted Kawhi back then. But it never happened, sadly. Yes. So, I mean, the Kawhi situation and the Kyrie situation, I think, are very different situations. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people will bring that up when I talk Kyrie and stuff, and they're always like, well, you don't want to do the Kawhi Leonard situation where you're waiting around, and it's like, if he doesn't come, now you missed out on everything. A couple big differences. One, during that season, there were other, commodities that we could have gotten that really could have helped the team, but we spun them all to go and get Kawhi. We waited around and he ended up not coming. Where in this situation, this offseason, there weren't any like big names. And we got basically all like the best assets out there, except for maybe like a handful of guys. So the Lakers did a great job in picking up free agents this offseason because there wasn't a ton. Like, go back and look at like what the Lakers had to pick through in this offseason. It wasn't very promising, to say the least. So that's my thing. It's like, what are other options besides waiting around for Kyrie to make a decision, whether he comes or not? It's not like we're waiting on Bradley Beal too. And it's like, you should go get Bradley Beal. Like Bradley Beal wants to come to the Lakers, but you're too busy trying to trade for Kyrie. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing else. Like, yeah, there's the Pacers trade. Okay. But now do they want to trade Miles Turner? Right. Because Miles Turner, they thought they were getting Ayton. And they even had like a potential sign and trade. And then they, gave him a contract offer and the Suns match. So it's like now, like if they end up trading Miles Turner, like who plays center for them? Like who's going to be their guy? Like, so is that off the table now? Yeah, we could still get Buddy Hield, but you don't need Westbrook to get Buddy Hield. So you could actually go do the Buddy Hield trade and still get Kyrie. But the Buddy Hield trade is likely going to be there regardless. So it's like, why not? Because you don't know what you're going to have to give up to get Kyrie. So what if you have to give up, push comes to shove, you have to give up both first round picks. Westbrook wants to be traded now, right? And I mean, he fired his agent over it. So the writing's on the wall there. So you might need your first round picks to go get that to get Kyrie. So it's like, do you go and make another move, or do you just be patient? I think they're in the best position by just sitting here and being patient. It's frustrating. Don't get me wrong. We all want it to happen, but most big name trades take forever. I mean, the James Harden thing, right? James Harden to Philly, like that was rumored for like 2 months before it actually happened. And then it was like, no, we're not trading Ben Simmons. Oh, we are trading Ben Simmons. No, we're not trading James. And then you saw the back and forth, and then ultimately it ended up happening. A lot of these trades take weeks, if not months, to actually get done because both sides don't want to be, you don't want to be the loser in the trade, right? Especially if you're the one with the superstar. Because usually the team that gets the superstar is the team that, that won the trade. So, if they get fleeced by the Lakers and they end up losing their superstar, it's like, it's a bad look for them. So they want to show face, stuff like that. And then even the other sort of thing with Kawhi is that, like, Kawhi had all kinds of suitors, right? Kyrie, it's the Lakers, and that's basically it, right? So I think there's a lot of differences when it comes to that. I don't think he can wear number 2. I think they retired it. I don't think number 2 was retired because the last person, because Wayne Ellington wore number 2. So I don't know if he wore it this year, but he wore it the last time he was on the Lakers. And, Derek Fisher, guys like that. So I don't think number 2 is retired. Yeah, number 2 is not retired. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not either. Wish the Kyrie trade would happen sooner rather than later. They still need to make another move for shooting after. I agree. I agree, but the thing is, like, and I'm with you 100%. I'd rather it happen sooner rather than later. Also, like, we need that to happen, this time last week, right? But I do believe that they will get an ad shooting around it, whether it's Eric Gordon, Buddy Hield, one way or another. I think they'll get somebody else. Very likely, we're going to get some shooting in this trade, right? Whether it's Joe Harris or Seth Curry, maybe both. Like I said, I could really see a scenario where they kind of meet in the middle. Like, I know that they want Buddy Hield, but I think the Buddy Hield thing is not so much that they want Buddy Hield and it makes sense. I think it's more so of like, he's the white whale, right? Buddy Hield's the one that we should have gotten, that we had a trade done. We ended up not getting him and it blew up in our face. So let's go get him, because then we can rectify it. And then we can say, oh, look, we still ended up with Buddy Hield. Yeah, it's a year later, but we still got him. Like, hey, guess what? Hey, Laker fans, we got Buddy Hield. Like, I think that's more what it is. I don't think it's so much like Buddy Hield is the absolute definitive best option, because Buddy Hield doesn't offer much outside of shooting. So if they could work something out to where you meet in the middle, right? The Nets want both firsts. Okay, well, we're going to trade a first for Buddy Hield. But what if you could work it out where you get Joe Harris and you get Seth Curry, right? Because at least Seth Curry is an expiring contract, which is what they want. But if he's good for you, you can re-sign him. He provides the exact same thing Buddy Hield does. Their shooting percentage is almost identical. Same thing with Joe Harris. Joe Harris and Seth's shooting percentage is nearly identical. So you'd have those two options that are basically the equivalent, if not more, of Buddy Hield, because you have more bodies. And if Joe Harris returns to form, which is the big concern, right? He's coming off of ankle surgery. He's got 2 years left on his deal. His contract is almost the exact same. I think it's only like a couple $100,000 difference between Buddy Hield and Joe Harris. But if Joe Harris can be healthy, he's, in my opinion, I would rather have Joe Harris over Buddy Hield, because Joe Harris provides a lot more than just shooting, right? Joe Harris has like a 40%, 3-point percentage, but he also can play defense. He also had, a 110 defensive rating or something like that, which is like, below, or I guess above average in the league. Like, so he is a solid defender. So that's my only thing. If you could work it out to where you get both, that might be good. Yeah, but the last time someone was wearing it, ended up changing it out of respect to Gigi. That's another good point too. Yes. Thanks. Appreciate the answer. No problem. Of course. That's why we're here. Have fun. Shoot your questions. Let me know, everyone that's joining in, if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about Laker related wise, please let me know. Out of all LeBron teammates, who would you say is the best? For me, it's Wade. If you're talking fit wise, I think Anthony Davis is the best teammate LeBron's ever had, just because of like everything Anthony Davis can do. Problem is his injury history and just inconsistency. But like, if you could pick the two perfect prototypes to play with each other, it would be LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That big wing that can pass, can score, can do everything, and then you got that big man down low that can shoot from the outside, play defense, block shots. It's Chris Bosh on steroids, right? Kevin Love on steroids, right? Like, I think LeBron and Anthony Davis are the best compatible duo you could have. As far as like teammates goes, Kyrie, I think, is the best. Like, I just think it was like in many ways the most special, just because Kyrie was at this just like level at that time, and LeBron was able to really get the most out of him. And then Dwayne Wade, I think, was the best for LeBron. I don't think Wade was necessarily his best teammate. If you're talking like locker room wise and stuff, then yes, absolutely Dwayne Wade. But Dwayne Wade taught LeBron how to win. Dwayne Wade taught LeBron how to be a leader. Like, LeBron needed Dwayne Wade a lot more than Dwayne Wade needed LeBron. That doesn't mean Dwayne Wade is better than LeBron. Doesn't mean that he's anywhere near LeBron talent-wise. It's just Wade had the mentality that LeBron didn't have. And we saw after LeBron left Miami and left Dwayne Wade, he carried that mentality over to Cleveland. And that's why he won a championship with Cleveland. I mean, watch those playoff series. I mean, especially the one where Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt and it was just basically him by himself. Dude, that guy was, it was ridiculous. You were watching, history. Like, it was mind blowing how good he was. But I don't think he ever would have gotten there if it wasn't for Dwayne Wade. because he learned what he needed to do. Um, I love your content, bro. Every day I look forward to your content. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. I'm glad. I mean, who doesn't like talking sports? And to be in a position where, I have this wonderful community to be able to just talk sports, whether we agree, whether we disagree, however we feel about it. It is a lot of fun to be able to just, come on, have discussions, talk sports, talk Lakers, things like that. The Kawhi is a different story, though. He was a free agent. Very true. Very, very true. That's another point that I've left out. Do you think THT and Kendrick Nunn remain on the roster? If not, who will we trade for them? So I made a video here on this channel earlier talking about, is it a mistake to trade Kendrick Nunn? Because Kendrick Nunn, I don't know if people forget, but Kendrick Nunn, that guy was Kendrick Nunn was a 20-point a game starting point guard on a finals team and was giving everybody the business. So I definitely think Kendrick Nunn, if he could get back to being that Kendrick Nunn, would be a huge asset for the Lakers. And it's like all the options that we want, like, it's like, oh, go get Patrick Beverley, all that stuff. It's like, but you already have an upgraded version in Kendrick Nunn, right? If most likely, I think what will happen is they will get traded, because I think what will end up happening, we'll get the Kyrie trade. Kyrie will be traded to the Lakers. You'll get whatever you get. Joe Harris, let's say it is. Let's say it's Kyrie and Joe Harris for Westbrook, a first, a pick swap, and like winning Gabriel or something like that, right? So that's most likely what ends up happening, and then they'll likely package that other first, Kendrick Nunn and THT, and go get and try to get a guy like Buddy Hield, something like that. Eric Gordon. I think Eric Gordon is the most obtainable player, that an option from a 3-point range. I know many people probably don't prefer him. I mean, obviously the better choice between him and Buddy Hield is Buddy Hield, but Eric Gordon provides the same thing that the Lakers need from, Buddy Hield. But beyond that, I just think he won't cost as much because, he's not beneficial to Houston in any way, where Buddy Hield could still be a huge benefit for the Indiana Pacers. So most likely, I think it'll either be a Buddy Hield trade that these two are packaged for, or they'll end up being on the roster. This Kyrie stuff is stressing me the hell out. I feel it. At the end of the day, at least it's entertainment, right? At least it's something entertaining, something to talk about. That's at least, out there. And it's like, let's see what develops. I heard AD and LeBron are pushing hard for Kyrie trade. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, LeBron, that report comes out. That wasn't by accident. LeBron knows what he's doing. LeBron knows what it takes to get what he wants. And to me, that's LeBron throwing it out, saying, oh, hey, if you don't go get Kyrie, you ain't getting an extension from me. Of course, the opposing team will delay this and able to at least ruin some team moves, freezing it. Totally like KD trade if it happens. Of course. There's always teams are always trying to draw stuff out. Teams are always trying to like sabotage. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants Kyrie to the Lakers. Not even the Nets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because as soon as that happens, guess what? Lakers are irrelevant again. I still believe that they're relevant, but it's just it adds that level. All the conversation to the Lakers. Do you think all these other teams don't get sick of hearing about the news just talking about the Lakers 24/7, 365? You don't think that, this Kyrie Irving stuff and all that is just of course, all these teams are sick of it. Every time the Lakers make a move, there's some owner in the league that complains about it and goes and cries to the GM or to Adam Silver's and the league execs and stuff. It's just, it always happens, because as much as people say like Laker fans are delusional and this, that, and the other, more times than not, we get our guy. Like people said we were delusional when we wanted Shaq. People said we were delusional when we got Powell. Oh, you're never going to win a championship with him. Like he couldn't even take his team to the playoffs, all that stuff. Guess what? We won 2 with him. And now he's going to get retired. Oh, LeBron's never going to the Lakers. The Lakers suck. Like, why would they go to the Lakers? Like the Lakers don't have anybody. LeBron's not going to the Lakers. You guys are delusional. You guys are crazy. Also, guess what? LeBron came to the Lakers. You're never going to be able to trade for Anthony Davis. Nobody wants your trash. Your trash. Your team sucks. LeBron didn't even make the playoffs. I was like, guess what? We got Anthony Davis. As much as people like to talk and run their mouths and say like, Laker fans are delusional. And don't get me wrong, they can be at times. You know, I've seen some crazy just scenarios and circumstances, and it's and there's always those extremes in every fan base, right? There's always those fans of a team that think, their young guy is the next Michael Jordan, or they're going to get 5 of the top 5 players in the league and put it on. It's just always what it is. But for like the normal fans that get excited about this news, and people always like, every time something comes out, the Lakers are like, yeah, because more times than not, we get our guy. It's just how it goes. Do you think Skip Bayless and Stephen A. are secret LeBron fans? I can imagine them wearing a Lakers jersey. Absolutely. Especially Skip Bayless. I can't listen to Skip Bayless anymore. He used to be a really good journalist, and used to actually have like really good takes and really like informative takes and things like that. And now it's just he just spews the same nonsense every single time he's on the air. And it makes no sense. And then you have Shannon over there like throwing out the facts and prove it, showing him that he's being irrational and just being crazy. And then Skip throws out some like nonsense. Like it's it I love watching people debate. I love debating with people. But like you can't have a debate when one is just spewing BS and the other side is like trying to present real facts or real statistics or real information. And then your counter argument is like, oh, it just makes Skip Bayless look silly. And it's just for ratings. It's just to get people talking. It's just to, get headlines and news and stuff like that. And it's not something that I enjoy. Like I want to hear like actual like information. I want to hear like if you have differences in opinions, I want to hear that, but I want to hear it in a constructive way, not just spewing nonsense. And Stephen A. sometimes he's hit or miss. Sometimes he's on these like ridiculous, silly rants and just looks goofy. And other times he actually does have a point to what he's saying. So Stephen A. is kind of hit or miss for me. But personally, I Skip Bayless. I can't listen to him anymore. It's just he just spews out too much nonsense personally. Um, Kyrie trade definitely. Sorry, Kyrie trade definitely puts Lakers back in contention. Absolutely. If the Lakers end up getting Kyrie Irving, there's no doubt. I mean, who's better than them at least on paper? If the Lakers are seriously like healthy and get in the playoffs and all is right in the world, like who's beating that team in a 7-game series? Anthony Davis, I still believe, is the key. Whether we have Kyrie or not, Anthony Davis is everything because he's the ultimate mismatch. Everyone his size can't keep up with him. Everybody that can keep up with him isn't his size. I mean, he can go from the down low to the outside. So if we get bubble Anthony Davis, no one wants to play the Lakers. You add Kyrie to that, now no one really wants to play the Lakers. I mean, they'd be the best team in the Western Conference easily. I think the only team that you could make an argument for that could match up well would be maybe the Milwaukee Bucks. Just because, Giannis and AD kind of wash each other out. You got Middleton and a bunch of big wings that can kind of be put on LeBron to kind of make things difficult. Still not going to stop LeBron, but you can make things difficult. And then Kyrie, you have Drew Holiday, who is arguably the best on-ball defender in the league. So you can kind of make things difficult. And I do think currently, as it stands, I think no pun intended, but I do think currently the Bucks are the best team in the East. Because I mean, you just look at it like they were a healthy Middleton away from being in the finals again and likely winning it. I think they matched up way better with the Warriors than the Celtics do. I'm still not completely sold on the Celtics. I wouldn't be surprised if they're back. I do think they're like, top 3, top 4 team in the East, but I'm not completely sold on them. I still think, Jason Tatum, he just completely disappears at times. And I think that that's a big problem. But yeah, Lakers are definitely back in contention if this trade goes through. Watch when Kyrie gets traded to the Lakers. Stephen A is going to hit it. All of them. I can't wait to hear all the ridiculous takes from Stephen A, Skip Bayless, everyone else. LeBron, look, LeBron, how much help does LeBron need? LeBron needs everything. He'll never be Jordan and all that stuff. But they completely leave out that Jordan either didn't make the playoffs or he got swept in the first round every year until Scottie Pippen came. Jordan didn't people like to act like Michael Jordan just did everything by himself when he had one of the greatest teams ever assembled. They are considered the greatest team ever, that 72 win team. I mean, he had guys like Horace Grant, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Ron Harper, Steve Kerr. I mean, he had more help than anybody, especially at that time in the league. Nobody in the league had a team as stacked as he was. People also forget that back in those days, people legitimately asked if Scottie Pippen was the second best player in the world. Like, those were real articles. I'm old enough to remember. So there were real articles, there were real everything like out there and reports and all kinds of stuff back in the day with newspapers and stuff that was like, is Scottie Pippen the second best player in the league? Like Jordan, like everybody had help. Magic, he had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You had this just ridiculous stacked team. The Boston Celtics had a ridiculously stacked team. The Celtics back in the 70s with Bill Russell had a ridiculously stacked team. The Lakers with Jerry West had a ridiculously, every team that's won except for like maybe the Detroit Pistons, although they had a really good team. Detroit Pistons and maybe the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. Outside of that, every team that's won a championship has had a ridiculously stacked team. It's just how the NBA works. What do you think about the reports of the Nets being content with keeping both Kyrie and KD? I believe it to an extent. So what I mean by that is, I think at this point it's looking more and more likely that Kevin Durant stays with the Nets at least this season, because Phoenix, they're out of it pretty much. They're not entirely out of it, but it's pretty close. And the only other team that can really put a package together that would meet what the Nets want are the Toronto Raptors, but they don't want to trade Scottie Barnes, so there goes that. The maybe Memphis. Memphis could probably put that together, but I don't think they're going to trade Triple J. Like, I don't see that happening. I mean, you have the Warriors, right? Like the Warriors, I don't know if the Warriors are going to want to sell the farm to go get a Kevin Durant. So I think it's more and more likely that Kevin Durant stays. And then at that point, it's like, do we keep Kyrie and see if we could salvage this year? Maybe we can trade Kevin Durant's mind. Maybe we could trade Kyrie's mind. The only reason I don't think that report is fully accurate is because the owner, Cy, wants Kyrie gone. I mean, he has made that abundantly clear. I mean, he said in an interview, I'd rather have a 40-win team that I'm proud of than the team I have now. Like, that's insane to say something like that. Like, Cy wants him gone. There was all the talks that, Sean Marks was going to get the contract extension. And then what happened? Oh, nope, that was nonsense. It's not going to happen. He might actually lose his job. Like, what? It's like, that was a big turnaround. And it's like, because Cy wants Kyrie gone. So I think whether they keep Kevin Durant or not, I think it's very likely Kyrie's gone. But if they keep Kevin Durant, the question is, do they want Russell Westbrook? And a lot of people talk about how, like, Westbrook this, Westbrook that, but they completely leave out that, like, at least Westbrook will show up. At least Westbrook, like, the reason they don't like Kyrie is because Kyrie doesn't show up, and so they want a guy that could show up. So, and Kevin Durant clearly doesn't have as much power as he thought, because if he did, he probably would have been traded by now. So it's just, he might not have a choice, for one. Two, at least he's a guy that's going to show up. You still don't even know what's going to happen with Ben Simmons. So how is Kevin Durant going to feel if he's the only one on the court? At least if you have Westbrook, that duo works because it was successful in the past. It's only 1 year. I'm not saying it's entirely going to happen, but it's not the worst case scenario if it does. What's going on, Austin? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Kendrick Nunn made a mistake leaving the Heat, unless they were planning on bringing him back. No, so I do think he should stay with the Heat, but the Heat didn't extend him. They wanted to move off of him so they could go get Kyle Lowry. So they basically told him, we're not re-signing you. So it wasn't his decision. Like, would LeBron would have said F those picks? Yeah. Look, LeBron doesn't care about those picks. He's not even going to be in the league when those picks are a thing. I mean, you're talking picks from 7 years from now, 5 to 7 years from now. LeBron doesn't care about those picks. He's probably not even going to be in the league. The thing is that everybody that, but that's you can make that counter argument. Everyone that is like F them picks, none of those people are going to be on the team by the time those picks are relevant. So it's like, you need the right package. You don't want to just give those picks away just to give those picks away. You want the right deal. I do think if push comes to shove, I do think the Lakers will give both picks to get Kyrie because they're not super